We're at the beautiful Goodwood Racecourse to start off this edition of Breed to Succeed, but once again we'll be taking you around the world. We'll have a glimpse at the bloodstock industry in South Africa, and our big interview comes from a bloodstock agent with a very famous second name. Let's start with our whistle-stop tour of sales ring action, starting in Newmarket for the Tattersalls July sale, which is growing in popularity, especially with overseas buyers. The top lot duly went to an international entity, Watton & Racing's Richard Brown smashing the sales record by splashing out 775,000 guineas on Royal Ascot winner Key de Bethune, formerly trained by Andrew Balding. That purchase eclipsed the previous record set just a day before, when Orchid Bouquet sold to Grant Pritchard Gordon for 550,000 guineas. The filly is a sister to the late stallion Calix and was consigned by Juddmonte. Leading Qatar trainer Jassim Ghazali is a big buyer at this sale, and he went to 380,000 to secure the Group 1 place Green Storm. Over to the US now, where Fasig-Tipton held its July sale at the same time as the horses in training sale. The latter made headlines when stakes winner Romeo sold for $1.7 million to agent Mahmoud Mooney. The colt will stay in the US with Steve Asmussen before heading to the Middle East in 2026. Jack Christopher was a very fast 2-year-old, and a son of his was the highest priced yearling, selling for $350,000 to CHC Inc. and Maverick Racing. That's China Horse Club, by the way. Topping the fillies list was a daughter of Vekoma, who sold for $345,000 to Kenny McPeak.
$345,000, not her taste, thank you.
Over to stunning South Africa now, to a sale in a rather different location. The car park of a casino, to be exact. Let's find out more.
3 words to sum up the sale. Fun, summer, sun. I love it here, 7 July. This is what I would call a regional sale. So your top sales are basically, well, the number one sale is the National Yearling Sale in Johannesburg, normally in roughly April. And then there's a Cape sale in March, which probably be your second top sale. I would say the facilities, probably your best facilities are up in Johannesburg at the Bloodstock South Africa grounds there. So that's, I want to say, like Newmarket and those areas where everything's purpose-built and not just constructed like this year. So it's a pop-up sale, but with a Durban July vibe and all the people up here, it's normally a good sale, a vibrant sale. I sell for myself as well as agent horses. Obviously, it's more nerve-wracking selling for someone else. You're always looking to please. So when it's your own horse, you're happy with what you get. The market dictates. When it's for someone else, you're always trying to get more. So far, I think the market has been good. I think you've got value for your horses. So basically, we truck them up here. They're here just for a week, and then come through the sales ring, and then they'll be back off to all over the country, back down to the Cape, Joburg, and up here in Durban. So to me, it's a lovely sale and an experience here in the summer sun. We're always looking for good pedigrees and good performance. So we always, as a breeder, you're trying to go to the best. For South Africa, we generally don't get the best coming in because it's just too expensive. So I would say your home breds tend to be better than the stallions that come in. Like a horse like Vercingetorix that went overseas and did well there, and then came back. So he competed on the international stage, did well there. Those are the type of horses we can afford. So they're definitely up to standard when they can go overseas and compete in one Group 1. But as far as the international horses, it's very hard to purchase the top tier Group 1 winners. So yeah.
For those keeping score, it was a Vercingetorix filly named V Squared who was top lot at the sale, selling for 13 million rand to Jonathan Snaith. Back to the US now, and Fasig-Tipton's ultra-glamorous Saratoga Select sale of yearlings this year smashed so many records that they ran out of champagne. Top lot was an Into Mischief colt, who sold for $4.1 million to Coolmore and Peter Brandt's White Birch Farm. Into Mischief was also responsible for the second top lot, another colt, who sold to the sale's top buyers, John Stewart's Resolute Bloodstock, for $3 million. Why is pinhooking called pinhooking? And what, for that matter, is it? Pinhooking is when a foal is bought at auction and sold on later as a yearling. The term originates from the Kentucky tobacco industry, when speculators would buy young tobacco plants to continue growing and then sell them for profit later on. A pin note was used to announce the sale. So our big interview is coming from the Goffs London sale with a pretty famous bloodstock agent. I think you are increasingly becoming. But I've got one important question for you. What would you say is the question you get asked the most in your general life?
Oh, it's always what was it like growing up as the son of Leicester? What was he like as a dad? And actually, it's quite an easy question really, because it's all I know. What's anyone's dad? They're all the same. To me, he was just my dad. But it's an honour to see how highly he's held in everyone's regard and how well he's remembered. It's wonderful, really.
I knew it would be that question. Dads are all the same, yes, but mine's not a famous jockey, so it must have been pretty good.
There were some times where you sort of had to stand back and go, yeah, this is a bit different, and being recognised in the strangest possible places. But like I say, that was his life, and he had a very good one.
Yeah, I think he did enjoy it. But you're quite young, so how much do you actually remember of his riding career?
Very little. He retired and was only taking the odd few rides when I was very young. I was actually very, very fortunate. When I was about 12, I got to ride a gallop with him at the British Racing School, which was filmed. And I think it was the last time he got on a horse. That was pretty special.
And that made you want to become a jockey?
I don't know. I actually initially wanted to get into breeding and sales. I went to work at Coolmore, and from there ended up riding at Ballydoyle, and that was my entrance into being a jockey. I actually went to the breeding side first.
That's really interesting. Maybe did you see the bad side of being a jockey, perhaps?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the bad side. It's a bloody tough life, and I've got ultimate respect for the lads that make it work, because they are really just professional sportsmen to the ultimate level.
And going to Coolmore, it's a huge operation. It's so polished. How are you able to learn a lot, or are you just a very sort of small cog in a huge machine when you're there?
Oh no, just to be around horses of that quality and horsemen of that quality, you don't think you're learning, but actually it's just rubbing off on you. And I say that they're days that I will cherish, because even when I went to Ballydoyle, geez, we were riding some bloody nice horses on some extraordinary facilities. Yeah, I'd say I've been very fortunate to ride for some amazing trainers all around the world, and I think what I find the most impressive thing is how everybody does things in their own way, a little bit differently, but then we get to all come to Royal Ascot and we're sort of all aiming for the same result.
When did the transition to sort of full-time bloodstock come about?
I was riding in Australia for Gay Waterhouse about 8 years ago, and I got injured. And I said, Gail, I'd like to go to the sale. I'd like to follow Johnny McKeever around with my one arm. And that was it. I just completely fell in love with it. I thought just what a wonderful career that would be. I'm so lucky to be a part of it. I thank my lucky stars every day that I've managed to make a life of it, because it's very rewarding.
I've never bought a horse. I've never sold a horse. What is the buzz? What's the sort of bit that keeps you going back to it? Because it's not easy. I see you guys look at every single horse at the sales. It's a lot of hard work.
There's a lot of prep work that goes in, and sometimes thumbing through a 1,000-page catalogue can get a bit tedious. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, when you're there bidding, the adrenaline rush is huge. It's not like riding in a race. It's a different buzz, but it's a buzz nonetheless. And to see everything come full circle, I try and sit on as many of the horses that I've bought for people as possible, to see them hit the race course and, as I say, go from point to point to point. That is ultimately the most rewarding part.
And there seems to me to be a lot of bloodstock agents. There's probably a dwindling client base to an extent, although we do seem to have more and more new owners coming in, which is good, but at the same time people are dying off. How do you sort of fight for position? How do you get clients? What makes you stand out?
Do you know what? It's all about reputation. Advertising in our game, waste of time. My old boss, James Delahook, he, when I worked for him, he was the most successful active agent in the world. He advertised in the little booklet you got on the back of the seat on Concord for 1 year, whole page ad, didn't get a single phone call.
Really?
So advertising like that, you have to be so direct, but it's word of mouth and reputation. Ultimately, what happens on the race course, how you treat your clients, and they tell their friends and they tell their friends, and that's sort of how we go about it. You know? Yeah, it's every year my client base has got bigger and bigger. I've been very, very lucky to have some wonderful clients, and they keep coming back.
Do you reckon your dad's proud?
I hope so. When I started doing it, I was amazed how into it he got. He asked me to send him all the lists from the sales, and he'd watch all the sales online on the laptop. He did a bit of reading himself and a bit of buying and selling, but yeah, he really got into it. I think it gave him an added interest.
The hotly contested Broodmare of the Month award goes this time to Immortal Verse. The winner of the Group 1 Coronation Stakes and Prix Jacques Le Marois in 2011, the daughter of Pivotal fetched a European record price of 4.7 million guineas at the Tattersalls December mare sale in 2013, when prepared and consigned by Coolmore Stud. She hasn't let her new Coolmore owners down, producing 5 winners from the 6 progeny to have raced so far. As well as Group 2 winner Statuette and dual Group 1 winner Tenebrism, she's the dam of Henri Matisse, winner of the Group 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and Paul Dessay de Poulain.
City of Troy was a human. This is a tough one, Laura. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger if he could run fast. We're very lucky here. We've 3 very young, exciting new horses coming to stud here. We've got obviously City of Troy, you mentioned. Then we've got the hugely exciting Auguste Rodin, red and the purple. It's such a good race for 6 Group 1 wins. And then we've got Henry Longfellow, a Dubawi out of a 7-time Group 1 in Galileo Mare. Like, it's incredible stuff to have those 3 horses retire here in the 1 year. Yeah, he's by Justify, who's an incredible stallion, Scat Daddy horse. He's out of a Galileo mare, which you can see is already a massive influence. Night of Thunder is a brilliant stallion out of a Galileo mare. He's got race record, as I mentioned. He was a brilliant 2-year-old. He went on to win all the good stallion making races, the Derby, the Juddmonte International, the Coral Eclipse. Like, they're races that over time have proved stallions. And he's managed to do it in a time that's faster than any horse has ever done it before. So when you probably put it all together on paper, it's all the key ingredients to make a stallion. He's just a horse that's an all-rounder, incredible profile, and I suppose it's testament to Coolmore and the partners and what they're trying to breed here. You just have to look at his pedigree. He's by Deep Impact, who is arguably one of the biggest breed-shaping stallions of all time. He's out of a Galileo mare, who's also one of the biggest breed-shaping stallions of all time. We've been looking at what Japan and the Japanese have achieved across the world, and every major international race meeting you go to, they are winning races. And he's kind of a horse that Aidan said where he kind of brings the 2 continents together. And I suppose it's a testament to the huge foresight of the partners and the Magna family to send these elite mares out to Japan to go and breed to Deep Impact, and they've had other success out there with Continues by Heart's Cry and other horses. So it's just it is a massive importance for the breed to have horses like this that are kind of worldly bred. He's a lot of quality. Anyone that comes to see him, to see he's a lot of quality. Very good walker, just a beautiful looking horse. He's not here all that long, and you can see already that he's just settled into showing very, very well. It's just all class, I'd say. Henry Longfellow is another horse that's very well received by breeders. He's really settled in. You see him today, he's loads of condition on him, great coat, and he's an old pro with it already. He's by Dubawi, who we already know is a brilliant sire of sires. He's already got Night of Thunder, New Bay. So they're like hugely exciting young stallions. And then we've got one that here in Henry Longfellow that like he won a Group 1 at 2, just like his father, the exact same race. And then he's out of a 7-time Group 1 winner. Like, so it's just, it's a very nice combination again for any kind of commercial stallion prospect. Paddington was a really tough racehorse. Like, he won the 4 Group 1s in just over 2 months. So, and he came from he literally started off in a handicap to going through and winning classics. So he was just a really superstar horse to go through the gears. He's a beautiful looking horse. Like, he's by Siuna of a Montu mare, and I think that's a great combination. When you see him, you can see both sires in him. Yeah, we've got a lot of kind of young, interesting sires here. St. Mark's Basilica is about to have his first crop of runners this year. We've also got from that same crop of having their first foals is Little Big Bear. So we've got hugely exciting young horses here that we're very optimistic about.
That's it from Breed to Succeed this time, and it'll be fascinating to see how many of the horses who've cruised to victory here at Goodwood this week go on to have an impact in the breeding sheds. Bye for now, we'll see you again very soon.